Y'all all in some trouble.
I wake up every minute with the fever dreams. I push a mind to a limit where it needs to be. I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be.
Welcome, folks. It's Tuesday night. It's 9:30. It's time to go behind the hedges. I'm your host,
What?
Mitch. And this is your other host, Matt. And hey, 1 second here. Let's go ahead and like, share, and subscribe, and leave the comments and all that kind of. Oh, we got here first comment on the screen. Hey, Enrico, let's go, my man. Thanks for dropping by, buddy. All right. Hey, Matt, you seen any good games lately?
I did see some entertaining games. I saw some close games. I saw some heartbreaking games. I saw some riveting games. But one game that was not any of those was Georgia-Oregon. Mitch, what did we see?
Isn't that the question, right? We joked around just so that people can know. I was like, what are we going to put on the thumbnail today? By the way, if you're looking at the thumbnail of this video, it is I know you've probably seen these things, these AI art things online. You can type in some text and it'll draw a picture for you or whatever. So I typed in the text white English bulldog viciously assaulting green duck. And this thing drew this monstrosities, and I was like, I don't even know what I'm looking at. But then it was so appropriate. It was like I didn't know what I was looking at on Saturday. So I want to tell you this little story, and then I'm going to turn it. I'm just going to let you talk because I know you have things to say. You're a father. You have children. I'm a father, right? We have kids, and my kids are of the age now where they're like, drawing things at daycare or at school, and then they're like, hey, daddy, look, I drew a picture, right? And you people out there who have kids will know. It's like, the kid gives you the drawing, and it looks like a fire truck with hair, you know what I mean? And so, but you're proud of it. It's your kid's drawing. They said, daddy, look what I did. I did this for you. And you're like, oh, that's lovely. Thank you. I'm going to put that right there. I'm going to tag that right there on the refrigerator. And you just put it there. Right. What if your kid handed you a drawing? Hey, daddy, I made this for you. And you, oh yeah, sure, kid. And you take a look, and it's the freaking Mona Lisa. You know what I mean? Like it's a piece of fine art. And you're like, whoa, my kid did that. So either way, you're going to be proud of your kids. So what I'm saying is, on Saturday, I expected to tune in and watch my Georgia Bulldogs, who are near and dear to me, right, be led by Stetson Bennett, who we've had questions about, right? I wanted to see this team play with all these young guys. I know they lost 15 dudes to the draft, and I know there's not a lot of expectations, and I'm just knowing that we're not going to look so good and not so crisp, and it's okay. We're rebuilding. But that ain't what I saw. What I saw was the Mona Lisa. And I saw horrible things happen to the Oregon Ducks, right? It took me a couple of days to even wrap my head around all of it. So what say you, sir?
I'm glad you went over all of that. That is a very astute metaphor. It was nice to see a brand new quarterback, though, play for Georgia. I'm glad the Stetson Bennett era is over, and finally gave a chance to my nephew, Stequavion Bennett IV, Heisman conversation, Heisman leader, a guy I've been behind with total loyalty and support from the very beginning.
Where's your jersey?
I don't have a Stequavion one yet. That's still the Stetson one. And
man, I should have clipped out that. I should have had the clip of you opening the jersey.
It don't fit me no more. Nah, bro. So Georgia, our lot in life, it seems, is going to have to be to deal with the fairy tale of the week. We talked about this last year. I talked about this in the off-season shows, and y'all told me that Oregon had one of the best offensive lines in college football, that Oregon had NFL talent scattered all over the field, that Oregon went to Ohio State and beat them, and they were going to not win, but they were going to make life miserable for Georgia. Y'all chose an Oregon team to make life so miserable that Georgia couldn't even cover 17 points. And y'all said it with just like it, like you shouldn't have even had to say it. Like it should just be a known fact. And then my man Staquavion came out there and splat! Went the first fairy tale of the season. Now, I want y'all to man up. National sports writers, local sports writers, and even some folks like us online who are Oregon fans have apologized for their insolence. And I'm going to need to hear this from some of y'all. And if I don't, that's going to tell me all I need to know.
So I was one of these that thought that Georgia would win but not cover.
You first.
Yeah, I'll be happy to. I got no problem at all. But buddy, let me tell you, after that, what was it? First seven drives,
7 possessions, 7 touchdowns, baby.
We only had 8 possessions in the game, and the first 7 of them ended with touchdown. That the most efficient possible ending. 7. In fact, that's only been done once before. I saw wasn't it Ohio State last year had a game start with 7 consecutive touchdowns.
Yeah, I think they did. I think USC did it back in 2005. I could pull it up, but I'm not going to give those teams the time of day. We're not here to talk about them.
I'm just saying it's a very rare thing. It's not something that happens.
It's rare. It's about as rare as repeating national champions.
So the other thing that's rare is when 2 teams that are highly ranked. I mean, let's say it. Oregon was highly ranked. They were a top 15 team. They were at number 11, right? So that's damn near top 10. So they're a highly ranked team. When 2 highly ranked teams play, usually it's just the starters. The starters stay in the whole time because both teams are trying really hard to win the game, and they got to have their best guys out there.
Yeah, you're right,
dude. Not only did Georgia get the win, and not only did Georgia get this utter domination, right? As our guy here says in the chat. Yeah, here we go. I'm going to just leave that. Enrico Shockwave, utter domination. Not only did Georgia get all that, but we got a lot of dudes got some playing time, right? Like, I mean, what was it? 28% of
28% of the players who saw the field with meaningful action against Oregon were true freshmen and redshirt freshmen. 28%.
Yeah,
Mitch. At the end of the fourth quarter, there were guys out there who had not had the names put on the back of their jersey yet.
That's funny.
I was like, "Who is that? There's no name."
It's funny that you and I were joking.
That play. It was a guy. We're talking about 4th string against Oregon. Now look, I don't need to really undress Oregon. Georgia did that on their own. Oregon has accumulated some respect in the last decade.
Oh, sure, they've recruited very, very well.
Kelly era where they were making some noise. They made a national championship appearance. They've made people look bad. They went to the Horseshoe last year and stunned the world and dragged Ohio State all around their own backyard.
Sure.
This is not some scrub team. Okay,
it's not Utah State.
Somewhere a Bama fan just died.
Killed him.
New coach, you did have some loss of production. You did have Bo Nix, who they're saying now, oh well, he's a no talent hack. You knew you had a bum back there playing QB. Yeah, the same bum that you said was going to make my Bulldogs not cover. You can't have it both ways. You had enough confidence in them some of my bitches to make my dog's life miserable. Now all of a sudden you want to start making excuses. Why does everybody got to make excuses? When Georgia whipped your ass, people, guess what? We just whip your ass and make it look easy. And I got news. It's going to happen a few more times this season.
Yeah. So
now, if you got something you're about to dive in, I do want to there is some concerns. All right, 300 total yards.
Let's start there.
They had some impressive drives. They moved the ball 140 yards on the ground. They weren't beating us man to man. They weren't coming at us. But when they talked about how Dan Lanning had intimate knowledge and that might help the scheme. That might help the X's and O's part. Maybe that's what it was, because they weren't going towards us. They were going away from us, and they were having success.
Yeah.
140 yards on the ground to Oregon, that ain't going to cut it. That's got to get tightened up. You want to make a championship run, you can't be allowing, over 100 yards, I think, on the ground these days. But other than that, Keely Ringo had a bonehead play. Chris Smith saved his life. Chris Smith came down with a pick. Malachi Stark had the play of the week. He was the freshman player of the week, I believe.
Yes, he was. He was.
Did the defense take a few steps back? Yeah, sure. Yeah, it didn't feel as smothering, right? It didn't feel like they were just, a bunch of damn Viking warriors out there just raiding a village. It didn't feel that way. However, I have to tell you, the result is the same as it was game 1 last year. We didn't give up a touchdown.
Exactly.
It netted Oregon 3 points, any way you want to slice it. So did we take a few steps back? Yeah. But did we fall off a cliff? Well, what did I tell you?
Well, one thing that I've heard you say is that you're willing to spot people. You said, okay, if we take a step back and say, I'm going to spot you 14 additional points, right?
To our season average from last year.
Right.
If you don't count the ass whipping in Atlanta, it's 6.9 points a game. If you factor in the beatdown in the SEC championship we suffered, it goes up to 10.2. Yeah. I'll give all of you, for a season average, 14 more points. 14 more points. You got them. I ain't even going to argue. Yeah, you got them. Fine. Add that on to whatever you want. Add that on. Yeah, anymore, we're going to have a conversation. And after what I saw game 1, that conversation may start to happen as we get closer and closer to the fourth. We may have to shave. We may have to shave some points, Mitch.
No. Here's the thing. If you say that we're willing to give 14 more points, what you're saying is that we have a defense that's going to allow, on average, about 24 points per game. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. If a team allows 24 points per game for a season, that means that they have to give up a total of 288 points in a 12-game season. Well, we have given up 3. And now we have 11 games to give up 285 points. Do you think that Samford is going to score better than Oregon? What about South Carolina? Will they score better, or will I don't even know who we play?
It's such a tough question because again, y'all told me I was given feedback that Oregon was going to be the toughest game on our schedule. That's what you said. Mm-hmm. That was the fairy tale that got put to bed. Let's say that's true. Then the simple answer is no. But of course, now there's no fairy tale this week. All right. We don't have nobody's got the guts to come up with a fairy tale for Samford and Chris Hatcher, the Hatch attack. Nobody's trying to say, Chris Hatcher gave Kirby Smart his first job at Valdosta State. His intimate knowledge of Kirby's coaching ways is going to give them a foot in the door. Nobody's got the balls to say that shit out loud. So there's no fair. We're going to beat them handily and then move on. But you are starting to hear rumors. You are starting to hear innuendos that, because Florida got lucky in the swamp and Utah lost that game for themselves, now all of a sudden Florida's a threat to cocktail party. You've been hearing Tennessee say they're gonna light the SEC on fire since the preseason. That's been an overall fairy tale. We don't just have to deal with it. Bama's got to deal with that one. Florida's got to deal with that one. You actually got dudes saying Spencer Rattler and the Gamecocks are going to be the ones. They're going to be the ones. Yeah. That's not this week. Yeah. That's next week. To answer your question, translation of all of that is these people are idiots and don't know what they're talking about when it comes to Georgia football anymore. It's a new age, baby.
So I think I have a question for you. When is the last time that you saw a Georgia football performance where everything flowed through the quarterback? If I need to elaborate, I can do that. But I think you know what I'm saying. When the game flowed through Stetson Bennett. And when Jake Fromm was our quarterback, I don't feel like the game flowed through him. I think it was largely based around our running attack, right?
Yeah. Because the instance that popped in my mind as those words came out your mouth was I guess the 2017 beatdown in Neyland Stadium. What was it, 42 zip? Something
41-0, I think.
something like that. But then you hit the nail on the head. I mean, Jake Fromm contributed, but so did everybody. It didn't flow through him. So did everybody else. The running attack, the defense, yada yada yada. The last time the game flowed through the quarterback like the Force, dude, I might not have one for you because my memory's fuzzy from the 90s. I was a kid. I checked out in the Ron Zook era because I was in college and into other things. It might have to be an Aaron Murray game, but I can't.
Robert says Aaron Murray too.
But I can't give you a specific game because, I mean, I was into it, but
I think it was I instantly would have said Stafford, but I'm not going to argue with somebody who said Murray. But the fact of the matter is this:
it's been a minute.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it's been a minute, and it doesn't matter which one of those is true. The fact of the matter is that Saturday I watched Todd Monken stand behind Stetson Bennett like the goddamn emperor and say, "Now is the time we will reveal ourselves." And he said, "Yes, my master." And just he did it. Yeah, it's been maybe 10 years. You're right. Yeah, like that. Oh man, that game versus Bama where we came up like just this short, and then they went on and stomped out Notre Dame. That was probably it. Yeah, that season right there. But that's what I'm saying, man. We reached a point now. It's like when Fromm was the quarterback, we were like, "Oh God, just don't screw it up," And then when Stetson comes on as the quarterback, we're like, just don't screw it up." You know what I mean? And dude, did you see him? Did you see him play? Did you see them?
This is a new look for Staquavion, because if you remember in the Natty, 3.5 quarters, he played like.
Mm-hmm.
He
played like Stetson Bennett.
He was Padawan Anakin, okay? And then the last 8 minutes were like, oh, when did Drew Brees sign with Georgia?
It was at the point that he turned that ball over. The fumble. It was like,
oh, is that? From then on, it was like boom, boom, boom. Now he
just said, you know what? I'm done with all this. All this narrative is going right in the garbage, right?
Against Oregon, it was the whole time, bro. That he was in the game. I'm gonna say this. If he returns to form, if he gets shaky again, if he goes back to his old ways, then what I'm about to say is a moot point, and I won't argue it anymore. If this type of play continues, real talk, I'm not bullshitting now. Ducati's not making jokes. He's got to at least be in the Heisman conversation if this continues. Big if. I don't think that's unfair, and I don't think that's outrageous. He ain't got to win it, y'all. He ain't got to win it because the Heisman is bogus anyway. It's a beauty pageant for a bunch of, most of the time, overrated 5-star recruits. They're thinking about these kids in high school. Oh, that's a Heisman guy right there. Stetson would spit in the face of all of that. He ain't got to win it. But if this continues and he's not in the conversation, the Heisman Trophy is completely illegitimate. Again, let me be perfectly clear so it's on the record. If this type of play we saw against Oregon continues and he's not a Heisman finalist, it is completely illegitimate. If he returns to his old ways, fair enough. Then he had a moment of clarity and then lost his way. But I have to believe when you're 24 years old, a 6th-year super senior, you should be out there outplaying 18 and 19-year-old kids. I don't give a damn how many stars they have. Sure. I mean, this guy has seen some serious football.
Yeah.
This guy was Jake Fromm's backup. He's got reps. He's got experience. He's got knowledge. He's beaten Nick Saban and Will Anderson and Bryce Young. Stafford didn't get us a ring. Murray didn't get us a ring. David Green didn't get us a ring.
Dude, the last one that did was Bug Ballou.
I mean, it's such a strange thing to try and dissect the Stetson story, but I don't want to hear about Stetson anymore. I want to talk about Staquavion, and I need him to. It's like he's got a dual personality now.
Did you ever watch The Office? Did you ever watch The Office?
Staquavion Bennett the fourth, baby. That's all I need.
Did you remember on The Office when Michael comes in and he's Prison Mike? He came in wearing. Stetson came out was Prison Stetson. Yes.
The last thing I want to, I think Dan Lanning. I mean, I love me some Dan Lanning. He contributed mightily to a great moment in Georgia football history, and I believe what Kirby said. They're gonna bounce back. I'm interested to see where Oregon goes from here in real time. I'm interested to see how they pick up the pieces and move forward in the Pac-12. I'll be keeping an eye on what they do. If they leave this game and go out there and just start kicking everybody in the teeth, then we know that what we did was even more special. Now, if they go out there and start shitting in their diaper and need mommy to come help wipe their ass, then the questions will come, and they should. But that remains to be seen. I wish them the best. I don't really have any hate for Oregon. I did not. I expected us to win and cover. My prediction was 38-21. I didn't see this coming. And I was still like pacing around nervous, even going into halftime, because it had not settled in. I was like, what is this? What are we doing? Yeah. Are you happy with this new identity? Are you okay with Georgia's offense being the crutch instead of the defense for now?
If that's the way you want to characterize this thing, I don't know if I'm willing to say that, because it looked like a fully oiled machine playing defense and offense, and then we got to see it. We got to see what.
Okay, let me drill down. There's less to bitch about on the offense than there was on the defense. We just brought up concerns on the defense. Ain't nary a concern come up about that offense. We did what we wanted to. So I will propose right now, week 1, they're the crutch for that game against Oregon. But we're a defensive team, Mitch. Georgia ain't got no offense. That's why Arch Manning went to Texas. That's why these 5-star receivers run. That's why Justin Fields went to Ohio State, because we don't play offense.
Listen to this.
It's a new age.
We punted one time in the whole game. It was a 53-yard punt with no return. We kicked off to Oregon 8 times. Oregon received 8 kickoffs from us and had a combined return total of 9 yards. We worried about special teams, and look, there it is. We worried about special teams because we're losing Camarda, right? He's a gem.
We heard stories that Brett Thorson from Australia wasn't really quite fitting the bill. That's the report. That's what was typed. Y'all told me this. I told Mitch. Mitch spent a whole day texting me, worried. There was sweat in his text.
We spent a whole day.
Mitch was worried
about a punter.
About the punter.
I was mad, dude. I had to go outside. I had to leave.
Remember, he was like, house. "Dude, I got like this Brett Thorson news you gave me has got me messed up." Well, 53-yard punt. I'll take it.
Yeah, for real.
But what I meant, the original question. This is a new identity for Georgia, because we're junkyard dog defense, and we ain't got our offense does just enough. We're gonna run that ball, cloud of dust, 3 yards. Man, that ain't what we saw. I'm gonna tell you what we saw. We saw Darnell Washington acting like Treebeard out there in the 2 towers, just stomping orcs like they were children. You saw Ladd, the honky McConkey. Dude, he was shaking fools out their shoes.
Fast. He looked fast.
He was. What is this? A.D. Mitchell still out there doing smooth championship catches. Which way you want it? And Kenny McIntosh. I know. CDC said COVID's over. They didn't tell Kenny Mack, because Kenny Mack's still out there observing social distancing rules, separating himself 6 feet on all sides from just about everybody on the field. And then you got Kenny Melton, who just basically, Stetson kneels down to give him the ball. Did you notice that? There's like this weird handoff. Or no, Kenny kneels to take the ball. Yeah, and then when he looks up, it's like, come with me if you want to live.
Right.
So which way do y'all want it? How you want it?
Well, the other thing is that once you have been beaten soundly, or you somehow figure out a way to let Georgia start dumping the benches, the first time they dump the benches on you, they drop Eric Gilbert
on the first string.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, thank God those guys are out of there. And you turn around and look, and you're like, oh Christ. It just doesn't get easier, man.
Concerning that he did not get a catch, though. I don't know what that is.
It'll be there. You just got to be patient. We
All
got
right.
too many riches.
I just
Too
hope he
many
ain't
riches.
flaking out in practice and again already. Didn't see Don Blaylock neither.
Oh man, don't get me started. When's the last time we saw Don Blake? Like 2018?
Dude,
Like, come
Don
on.
Blaylock is. I went to the post office to mail a letter, and there was his
Hmm.
face.
Yeah, it's all over my milk carton in the refrigerator too. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see him just to bust out, but we ain't seen it yet. Hey, Matt, we gotta get to some picks, man. We are beating our gums together right here.
Hicks.
Yeah, we're gonna do some picks.
All right.
But before we cut to our picks, let's talk this Georgia game versus Samford. We've been we've been digging around on the internet trying to find that spread,
It
and
wasn't spread out till today.
finally somebody decided to lay
One
some money
casino.
down.
One.
Which casino was it? The Win?
The Win
Yeah.
Casino. Put finally. I mean, they're the only one. Most of the books aren't touching that game.
So what is it? 52 points.
52 points.
All right, so let's do it. This is the side bet. This is our side bet. I wouldn't lay the 17 against Oregon. What am I willing to lay 52 against Samford? Yeah, I think I am.
Yeah,
I
damn sure better be.
I mean, what do you want to see Saturday? Because I know the answer. No injuries. A, B. I just want to see evolution. Just continue. Up. I want to see more of this, and then we can start tightening down things. Let's make sure that our fundamentals are there. Make sure the defensive schemes are working. Let's
All right.
let's let's just go out there and make sure the machine is well oiled and make sure it works.
I want to see no injuries. I want to see less than 150 yards all purpose for Sanford. I want to see less than 100 yards. In that 150, it better be less than 100 rushing on the ground. And I want to be at a point where we're comfortable putting Beck or whoever out there by the end of the second quarter and riding with them. I want to see more shirts with no names on the back. I want to empty the benches again. There ain't nobody else out there doing it. Bama might have done it. They might have done it, but I wasn't paying attention. They might have emptied their bench against Utah State. I'm not sure. I know that we have against the formerly number 11 team in the country. We damn sure need to do it again because these reps will matter as we get into the season. That's what I want to see. Those three things. I want to see no injuries like you. I want to see less than 150 all-purpose yards, of which of rushing, that better be less than 100. And I want to see rotation all the way down to the fans.
Gotcha. Yeah. Everybody plays.
Put me in the game, coach, and then that's where we stop.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so we're going to do this real quick.
All right, what do we got?
Welcome back, everybody, to Behind the Hedges. I'm your host, Mitch. This is Matt Ducati here. We are going to get into some picks for week 2 here. So, how do we do this? We should say that both of us went 3-2 in the first week. We both lost Utah, and I'm okay with that. I lost Oregon. I thought that Oregon would keep it closer than 17, and but I was right on FSU. So there. All righty. Let's see. What are we doing? Here we go. First one. You ready for this? Alabama versus Texas. Alabama is favored by 20.
Tide's going to roll in Austin.
I mean, let's just go ahead and skip to that, right? I'm taking Bama. I'm laying the 20. You are too.
Texas does not have the clubs in the bag. They are outmanned on the front, on both fronts, and you got no chance.
What is your most desirable outcome in this game? Not just the score, but like most desirable outcome.
My most desirable, just objectively, or my most desirable based on this spread that y'all do. I mean, I want to be right.
No, I'm not talking about the score at all. I'm talking about like things that happen in the game. What would you like to see happen in the game? And like,
I would I would love for the sky to open up and the war between heaven and hell just happen to start over that stadium, and the Angels don't really know who's who yet, and they just slaughter everybody, and they're like, oh wait, those are just Those were just Gumps and Longhorns. Oh, okay. Oh, there's the Demons. Like, that's what I would like to happen. Um, I want to see Texas make life difficult for Alabama. But that ain't gonna happen. I don't know how they go about doing that. It's not, what they have is not going to be enough. In fact, it's going to be severely deficient. Texas Sarkeesian's already tried to do the "I'm going to play this off" thing, and he said this game won't define Texas because he knows what's coming.
Yeah.
I'd like to see. I'd like to see Texas further expose some of the deficiencies in the already crowned national champions, Alabama. Or if you talk to the media,
you said that right. You said that right. You said that. Let's see Alabama get exposed a little bit. So to the tune of something like 40-20, something along those lines.
I think we're looking at something like probably 49.
28.
No, fuck no. 49-10, 49-13.
Oh,
yeah, it's going, dude. They're going to roll.
Okay.
I'm going to give Alabama props. They are mad. Nick Saban is. They are taking that ass whipping they got in Indianapolis seriously. So
good. I mean, yeah, that's what we expect. Okay. South Carolina versus Arky. Arky's favored by 8.5.
This one's tough, man. I don't know about Arkansas, and I love me some Sam Pittman. I was all excited. I think they've got the bigger, nastier, more physical dudes. But I thought that last week, and there were times I was looking at that game like, man, what is this?
Well, they covered, and so the question is Cincinnati tough, or is Cincinnati not? We don't know. We don't know what Cincinnati is.
I think Cincinnati's tough. Yeah. I mean Cincinnati is. Well, hell, we played them. It took everything we had. And a late field goal just to put them dudes away. I mean, Cincinnati's that new. They're that team. They're immune to they're immune to the narratives and the fairy tales and they don't listen. They just come and play tough football, and then you got to deal with them. And I think Arkansas did that. But also part of me was thinking Arkansas is big and strong and nasty enough to just do what they want, and that didn't happen. So I've got a little bit of doubt.
Let me see. I'll just pull up the game. Georgia State, South Carolina played Georgia State 35-14. It looks like that Georgia State was able to run the ball pretty well. The yardage actually favored Georgia State, believe it or not. Yardage actually favored Georgia State. The game was 35-14 though.
And they're at Fayetteville? Yeah,
I believe so. Yeah.
I'll take Arkansas.
I think Arkansas wins by closer to like 14 points. I'm thinking
I'm good with it.
35-21 or 28-14, something like that. So I'm taking Arky, laying all 8.5. All right, next up now. Ooh boy, here we go.
Oh,
what do you mean? Ain't nobody
scored a marquee game? If you hear Vanderbilt fans tell it.
It needs to be said that Wake Forest is two things. They're ranked. They're number 21 or 22, depending on which poll you're looking at, I believe. And also, somebody just said it in the chat earlier that what's his name? The quarterback. He's back. Where did it go?
Which quarterback?
The Wake Forest quarterback went down.
But he's back.
Let's see. Gosh, where is it at?
Well, okay.
Here it is. Here it is. Officially official. Sam Hartman. Sam Hartman will return for Wake Forest this week versus Vanderbilt. Game against Vandy will be a month exactly from announcement that he was out indefinitely. He had surgery to alleviate some blood clots. So Sam Hartman had a really good year last year. Wake Forest wound up playing for the ACC championship out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then their quarterback to head up because these blood clots. So that's been a month ago. Now he's back, coming out to play Vanderbilt, and they're favored by 13.
Well, what are you going to do?
What am I going to do? I'm telling you what, I am going to take Vanderbilt and all 13 points.
So Forest wins, but Vanderbilt.
I think that Vanderbilt will cover that spread. I think that they.
You think Vanderbilt will win even though they're not favored and beat Wake Forest by that amount of points?
No, I'm not. I'm not picking Vanderbilt to win. I'm just picking them and the points. So Vanderbilt will, if you add those 13 points to Vanderbilt's score, they will win. But I don't think they'll win.
Well, I'm taking Vandy in the points too.
You can take Vandy.
I'm gonna take Vandy in the point, dude. Vanderbilt's put up 100 points in their first 2 games. Can you find me? Don't do it now because you'll take too much time. When's the last time Vanderbilt did that in their first 2 games?
I don't think. I don't. I mean, I think like
It's a new age.
Howard Taft was probably, William Howard Taft was probably the
Grover
president.
Cleveland.
Jeez, I don't know. It's been a hot minute. Here's a good one. Here's a good one for you.
Tennessee gonna go up to Pitt and beat them by less than a touchdown. That's what they're saying.
They're saying that, yeah.
It's possible. What do you think?
I tell you what I want to do. I want to take Pitt outright. That's what I want to do. Keaton Slovis.
Do what you feel. Do what you feel.
But the reason I want to do it is just to rub those very orange live boys just a little bit. I hemmed and hawed with you last Tuesday, and I said, "Oh my God, I just can't see. Oh man, Georgia's not going to be able to beat Oregon by more than 17." And it pained me. There was pain, and I made the pick, and there was pain.
You understand? It.
And then I went and watched the Very Orange live stream.
What did I say earlier in this stream? What did I say? It was said Georgia not covering was said with just like you should know this already.
Like water's wet, knives are sharp, sky's blue. These kinds of things. Yeah, Georgia's not going to cover that. It was easy. It was easy to say it.
An apology.
Yeah, and the one tater in the room was like, hold on just a second. Yeah, the Tennessee boys, they were very so I picked Tennessee to cover last year in this game. I think they were favored against Pitt last year, and Pitt straight up beat them. I don't think that Tennessee is going to lose. I think that the first time that Tennessee will lose will be versus. Hold on to that. I am going to take Tennessee in this game and lay the points. Okay. Even though the darkness inside me really, really, really wants Pitt for some reason. But it's just you, sir.
I mean, in the coaches poll, Tennessee's not even ranked yet. They crept their way into the children's poll. I mean, the AP poll. The mythical Fugazi shit that ain't real. The beauty contest of sports writers who don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They'll pay me to do it instead. But in the coaches poll, the people who make their living coaching and living and breathing football, Tennessee is still from the outside peeking in, and Pitt is sitting there at 14. I'm gonna take Pitt and the upset. The numbers don't lie. I'm looking at them. The numbers don't lie.
Wow.
I'm gonna gamble.
I got nothing. I am deceased. I just passed away on camera. oh God. Wow. The last pick of the week. Last one. Florida versus Kentucky. Oh boy.
I had Kentucky going in there and winning outright until I got the news today that Rodriguez will be out. They are also going to be missing one of their starting linebackers, I believe. Kentucky, I'm talking about.
Yeah.
This one's still strange. This one's still hard to pick. Florida. They did it once this past week. Can you do it again? Can you do what was done in week 1 multiple times a season? Number one, can you do it 2 weeks in a row? That was a big win for Florida. That was emotional. I mean, I'm sure there's stuff left in the tank. It's going to be rocking. Can you do that again against a team you don't outweigh on the lines by 30, 40 pounds? Because Utah, I mean, they finessed their way into that game. But if you looked at them side by side with Florida players, Florida had the athletes, far and away. And in the second quarter, when I see Utah projectile vomiting, I just said, "Nah, I don't know if Utah's in the right environment to pull this off." What do you think?
I want your pick. I want your pick first.
No, I don't want
Yeah.
to get that yet. I want you to tell me what your thoughts are. This one's tough. I know you're wearing those blue underwear, even though you got that G in the background. I know you got that U in that case sitting on your ass on them blue underwear you're wearing.
No, you're right. In our chat we have 2 Kentucky fans, and I have banged the big blue drum louder than either one of them now for some years, for like at least 2 years, and I still am. Started this season. This is it. It hurt me to no end that Kentucky lost to Tennessee last year. It hurt me to no end that they lost to them. There is I am like you in that there is doubt because Rodriguez is out, and they didn't look very good. Kentucky, Miami of Ohio, they didn't look very good for a while.
The shit, man.
Eventually they got it together and won the game. Levis is one to turn the ball over sometimes, but here's what I keep going back to. What does Kentucky do well? They're physical on the lines. They play solid defense, particularly solid run defense. Okay. What is in Florida's mind and heart after beating Utah? How does this? Do they have a letdown? Did they? So here, and also it's in the swamp. Oh man,
Kentucky's won there before. Florida registered 0. I said 0 receiving touchdowns against Utah. Not 1, not 2, not 3. 0. They didn't throw a touchdown one time. They ran all over an outsized and physiologically outmatched, unprepared West Coast team, and they did. And it's and after all the heroics, Utah still finessed their way all the way back down to the goal line and had themselves in a position to win, and their receiver fell down.
Yeah. I got my pick written down.
I'm drinking that orange and blue Kool-Aid yet. I'm not saying I'm not taking anything away. Big win. Hats off to you. I just don't know if it was more you won or if Utah lost. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I'm going to take Kentucky in the points.
Me too.
Okay. Well, I think it's fair. Kentucky in the points. I can't.
Well, the only one we disagree on is Tennessee and Pitt.
There's something they're missing. Like Florida put themselves on the map with fun and you throw the ball. You throw the ball and you're explosive at Florida. Mm-hmm. We didn't see none of that. We saw a receiver fall down and a DB intercept and make the play. And good win. I don't know how much that's going to hold up.
I got one for you. I'm going to leave. Well, leave everybody. We're going to log. We're signing off, everybody.
No, we're not, because I have something new.
I know that you have. I know you have a thing, but I'm going to let you do your thing, and then we're going to sign off. But before we sign off, I want everybody to watch this game, Florida and Kentucky, and I want you to remember this name. Are you ready? Dane Key.
There you have it, folks.
Dane Key.
Dane Key.
We're going to talk about him next week on this show.
Okay. Right now, we're going to talk about the petty factoid of the week.
Wait a second. I got a thing. Petty factoid of the week.
Sometimes, folks, I can be a little petty.
Sometimes.
I know that shocks and surprises many of you, but it does happen from time to time. I'm only a man. I bleed red when you cut me. I'm not perfect. Here's the petty factoid of the week.
Let's hear it.
After one of the most dominant wins in the history of Georgia football against our top 25 team. Surprisingly, a bunch of Bama fans came on from all angles flapping their gums about this. Well, your defense definitely ain't nothing. You ain't even get a sack against Oregon. You are correct. We did not register a sack against the Oregon Ducks. We also did not give up a sack to the Oregon Ducks. Your petty factoid of the week, Bama fans, you need to think before you speak. Y'all didn't register a sack against Utah State, but you did give one up